how's spring been going with the new role for yourself and working with Coach Crow?
Man, we having a blast. We're absolutely having a blast, having fun. Just trying to make sure that we do our job and do our part and making sure that we continue to trend the way we have defensively. It's been a really good past 3 years. Going into year 5 total on the staff. And so we're excited about trying to continue to move and push the needle for us to be one of the great teams in the conference and in the nation.
What is that transition like since Coach Simon was left? How different does it feel, and how do you use spring to kind of get ready for fall?
I really think that the difference is probably more than anything just the voice and the voices that you hear between myself and Coach Crum. We had talked to Coach last year about this possibility, really about 2, 3 years ago. And he kind of just said, this is the direction I see myself going. Um, then you speed it up and you fast forward to now, and he made the decision. So two things. One, you feel awesome about having leadership like that you can trust what's being said. But then you're excited for the opportunity for us to now kind of take charge. And obviously Coach Simon is a great coach, one of my best friends, family, love him to death. Have spent a lot of time with him. He made a decision that was best for him at this time in his career. And so we were able to step up and are able to step up and kind of continue to move forward. I think our guys have been excited. Everybody's in a uncomfortable position, but uncomfort is a good thing, right? It promotes growth. You kind of get to see some things from not only us, it's from a leadership standpoint, but from our players as well and how they handle those situations.
What's it like bringing on somebody like Coach Ward, who you've known for a while now, and then Coach Messer stepping up in the linebackers and just his whole staff coming together and those pieces working with it?
So Coach Ward, like you said, known him since we got here. We always had really good conversations. Why are we doing certain things defensively? What are we doing from a recruiting standpoint? And so now to have that voice in the room with us, and then it's again a new voice. So now he's saying, okay, well, why do we do these things? What is the reasoning behind it? How are we trying to build so that he can be in the same mentality and thought process as us, but then it's also maybe challenging some things as far as what can we do better or how can we shape it. And so it's been awesome to have him. I think our guys have gravitated toward him. Gravitated towards him. They listen to his coaching, his respect of what he's done at South Oak Cliff, what he's done previous to from the college ranks as well. I think it's really been a benefit to him. Coach Messer, man, that's family. I've seen him grow from really 2020 up until this point. Him stepping into a role where I think he's been ready for this opportunity for a couple years. And, it's all about timing. God puts us in position to take advantage of timing on his time. And I think he stayed diligent to that process. And now you can see it coming out. You see the way the guys are practicing and playing under his influence. It's been encouraging to see.
How are you feeling about your corners when a returner and somebody out the rest?
It's been awesome. So, I've kind of not relieved duties. It's going to be hard for me to ever do that from the corner standpoint. But Coach Ward has those guys. He, myself, and Coach Jonathan McGill all work together in the back end. And so, our corners on the outside right now are challenging. And that's what we've asked them to do. Nobody's going to be crowned in a starter or anything like that at this point. Everybody's got to earn those stripes, but they've challenged, and that's something that at times, we didn't put ourselves in the best situation to do last year. And so, we've all had a intensity and an intentionality about ourselves to make sure that we come out and we make that a staple in what we do this spring. And so you can see him really do that. JT Thomas has come out and really pushed the room. Which is exciting to see for him. He's a guy that's played at a high level. It's just now being able to step into it. It's your last shot. Let's go. And so you see that sense of urgency with him. And then the guys that have been here, Marcellus Barnes, Speedy Nettles, really doing a good job of just solidifying what they did this past season and then getting Smoke back on track. Last year he kind of was off track at times. He's a kid that we still have extreme confidence in, and we want to continue to see that, along with Jay Holly, the younger bodies and younger guys that are coming along in that room.
When you guys have been out here, we've been able to see it seems like the corners in particular are like challenging, like a little bit more sticky almost. That aggressiveness, is that a change that you guys are putting out there this spring?
That's always what we've wanted to be, right? At times we've been at, and times we have not, and so consistency is a part of it. I think last year the youth in the room outside of Deuce, was trying to kind of not figure it out, but come along, you know what I mean? And sometimes that's not an instant process, right? Everybody in that room outside of Deuce was either a sophomore and junior or younger. You know what I mean? And so there was times they were in the fire they had never been in. And so now to see the resolve, see them take things that they learned throughout the course of the season and transition that to practice now, will be things that will be a benefit for us in the summer and then obviously into the season. So extremely pleased with that. But, this is spring football. We got games to win in September and on. And so we just got to make sure that we continue to, and our goal and message is to challenge not just now, but what we're going to be, who we're going to be, the consistency that we want to have as we move into finishing up spring practice and then in the offseason once again.
What's the growth been like for a guy like Jalen Moses?
Man, it's been good to see from him. He's been right there at the edge. He's been a guy that we had some rotational reps last year. And, we just really sat down. I sat down with him going into spring practice and said, like, the time for waiting is done. You know what I mean? You've been here. You know us. You know what the expectation is going to be. The defense is not changing dramatically, right? It's going to be a lot of what you've done, a lot of what we've been with some tweaks and nuances here and there. Like, you should feel very comfortable. You're almost like a coach at this point because this is year 3, 4 that you're going into. And so good to great has been the message from Coach Lashley. It's been the message to our team. That's the message to a guy like that. You've done some good things. Now let's be great. Let's consistently good to great and put yourself in a position that you can impact this defense. He's accepted that challenge. I've been extremely hard on him, probably more than anybody else, to be completely honest with you, because it's him versus him. And if he can beat himself, positively or negatively, then that's what you're going to get. So we want to be positive in that win versus myself.
When you see somebody like JT come in and just play the way he has so far in spring, how important is that? Kind of a guy that was like brought on late in a sense, it seemed like on our end, to see him, make an impact early.
For sure. We wanted him here earlier than he got here. He just had a lot of suitors, and he just made a decision with his family, his circle, that this is where he wanted to be. Don't take for granted that Kyle Ward being here helps that. And, the transition that he's had up to this point, it's been like Deuce. It's been like Charles Woods, guys that we've had in the past that have come in. And, yes, they may only have a year. They may only have 2 years. But, like, a light bulb is going on. I don't know if it's just a refreshing change of scenery, voice, with Coach Lashley, as well as our defensive leadership, or if he's just saying, man, I got one more, and I don't want to waste that opportunity. But you can see he has done a great job. I watch him in meetings when we're installing and when we're talking, and he's taking notes more than anybody else, or just as much as anybody else. That lets you know that there's a seriousness about it, right? He's not just trying to bank on, I've played a lot of football, let me remember it, store it. Let's write it down, let's hone in on it, and then, let's execute. And so that has transitioned to the field, and that's all that you can hope for. The new blood in the defense has definitely been fun and exciting to see across the board, from up front to the back end.
That nickel spot with Jarvis Lee, Lamondre Spencer, Abdul Muhammad, it seemed like was there. What's that group been like?
That's going to be fun. 15-1, Fat Lamondre and Jarvis right now. At any point in time, you can flip a coin. That guy's going to be out there. That guy's going to make a play. And that's what we need from that position. We ask that position to be our jack of all trades, and we kind of not so much go as they go, but it's really important that we have success with the things that we ask them to do at that position. And so to see both of them doing that has been awesome. Every now and then we'll sneak JMJ over there, Jaden Milner-Jones, and steal some reps because he's just a guy that can play any of the three. And so that makes us feel very confident we can go out there and execute at a high level, whether we're pressuring, playing coverage, put them in one-on-one situations. And so they both, Fat, Lamondre, and Jarvis, are very similar. They're very edgy. They're very competitive. They're very excited guys when they're out there. And so there's never a dip. And that's pretty cool to have with the group.
And what's the balance been like with Jimmy Wyrick and Tyron Polley on the back end?
So, we're transitioning Tyron back, just still kind of finishing up. We're making sure that he's safe on that hand and everything is where it needs to be. Him flying around, like, he's real. Like, he's for real. What we saw last season is really who he is, and you can see that in walkthrough. You can see that in practice. And so you're excited about him because he kind of continues that next line of the long line of guys we've had play well at the safety position over the past 3 years. Jimmy is a pro. You know, Jimmy is Jonathan McGill. He's Ahmad Moses. He's Isaiah Wacobia. Like all of those things kind of mixed into one. He may not do everything that they do, but he can do a lot of what each one of them can do. And so it's been great to have. He's a calming voice. He's a leader. It's not just a rah-rah. It's very much presence in the way he goes about his work. And he's come in and he's not assumed any role, any position. He just want to be a part. And he wants to be a part at a high level. And wearing the triple D on the side of his helmet helps. You know what I mean? He wants to do it for home too. And so that's cool to see.
Just how's the spring been for you as a whole?
Yeah, it's been going really well. You know, I've been having to transition between corner and nickel, so I think it's been good for my play overall because they are kind of interchangeable. So the footwork I carry over from corner can help out a nickel. I would say though that playing that position takes a lot of being able to think because you know you got to set the field, blitz, know what coverage we in instead of just hearing the back end of the call like corner. So, but I've been having a great spring so far between the two, and it's been a really great transition for me.
What's it been like now without Coach Simons being here and kind of all the coaches shifting a little bit? How have you noticed any differences, and just how have you guys made through that transition?
Yeah, it's been a really, like I said, a really great transition this spring so far. We are doing a great job still on defense. I think we're being a little bit more aggressive, being a little bit more attentive to detail. So I would say Coach Crum and Coach Hunley are doing a great job.
What are some of those differences that are there in the defense? Just either terminology or what you guys are trying to do.
Yeah, like I said, I think we're really attentive to detail. Scheme wise, things have been pretty much the same for us. So you don't have to really worry about doing too much of different installs. It's just a lot more aggressive D. Honing in on the details, things like that.
You've been here for a few years now. What's kind of the messaging to you heading into this next season and what they want to see from you moving forward? Yeah.
Intention, being aggressive, being the guy that I am, being a leader. I've had to fulfill the leadership role. We had guys like Isaiah Wacobia and Mob Moses leaving in the back end. So I take it up on myself. I've always thought of myself as a leader, and they have as well. But now I think it's time for me to step into that role, and I think I've been doing a really great job so far.
To have Coach Ward come in, the guy you're probably been familiar with a little bit, what has he brought to the ring?
Yeah, he's been doing great so far, especially with me. He's doing a really great job of us mastering our craft within our own game. So it isn't taught one specific way at corner for us with him. It's playing to your game, and he's been doing a really good job of adjusting that from high school into college. So I think, he's been doing a really great job of that. I haven't met him until he got here, so I didn't know much about him at first. But, he's been great for me, really up my game at corner, which has actually helped me a lot at nickel as well.
What's Jonathan McGill like as a coach?
He's good as well. He can relate because, he played back there. He knows what it's like back there. He's been helping me a lot at nickel as well. So forever grateful for him. He's always been a really smart player, which is helping him be a really smart coach as well because he knows the defense in and out.
How's spring been for you so far?
Spring's been really good. I like what we're doing right now, really focusing on details and competing. I think that's really what spring is about. So right now, everything's just really good, competitive every day, and paying attention to the small details. I feel like we didn't do as well at last year, so that's the main thing.
How big of a difference is it for you this spring than last when you're covering from injury?
Right.
And have as much a full off season.
Right. So it was really tough for me coming off my labrum injury. But I feel like we attacked it, of course. Like as soon as I got back, every coach was on me and just making sure I was good on just keeping that competitive edge, really. So I think this time go around, just me having a full spring and a full winter too, working out, getting bigger, stronger, faster, things like that. So it's been really good.
How have you seen the differences with the coaching staff shifts? So without Coach Simons, what's
I miss Coach Simons. I really do. But I love what we've been doing here with Coach Crum and Coach Hunley. Really helping us. Just making sure that, like I said, just being competitive and paying attention to those small details. I think everything's really the same with me. We're just adding on to what we've done. Of course, we weren't satisfied with what we did last year, so just staying hungry.
And what's the change been like having Coach Ward add his voice into the room?
Coach Ward is on me. Really on all of us. Just making sure that we go from that good to great. Just taking that extra step that I feel like we really need to have the record we want to have, the season we want to have. So Coach Ward, he's been a great piece for me specifically. I know everybody else too.
How does having a year like last year where you guys maybe didn't do everything that you would hope that you would have achieved kind of help feed you in a long spring and a long fall camp, knowing you're still months away from the season?
Right. Like I said, well, right now I think they're just making sure that, of course, that we focus on competing. I mean, I think that's what it's really all about. I love competing. They just really drilled that for us and paying attention to those details. It's crazy because I feel like we did really good last year, but it's just that small little step and that small thing that you really don't think about that can really change the season. So that's the main thing.